Salam alaikum. Hello, everybody. It's a great honor. Thanks to the organizers. Thanks for you to taking the time to listening to our view on the future. As DataSat, we have been around in the kingdom for 40 years, and we see ourselves as one of the drivers of Vision 2030. We want to be one of the key contributors. And the topic today is about the future of technology and humanity. The previous speakers were talking about the opportunities for SME, supported by Monshard, one of our partners. Now hearing about the power of AI and what AI can be doing. And if you're looking into the past, if you're looking what was happening over the last couple of decades, it was a very exciting journey. And what we are seeing today is really the exponential power, the power of N in terms of technology evolution. Think back about Apollo moon landing, which was one of the big achievements of humanity. The compute power of the Apollo program in 2010, everybody of us was holding it in his hands by using the iPhone, by using an Android phone. Looking 1 year into the future, 2 years into the future, it is expected that a $1,000 device can have the same compute power as the human brain. That's only 1 year in the future, $1,000. You're talking about billions of dollars of compute power in 1960. So technology is exponentially exploding. By 2050, most researchers believe that the power of a $1,000 device will be the same as the brain power of all humanity combined. So Moore's law, one of the co-founders of Intel, was predicting that every 2 years the compute power will be doubling at half the price. There was an assumption that this would reach a physical end, but what we are seeing today, that once technology is digitized, it accelerates exponentially. I think one of the examples was the development of the COVID vaccine, which brought the time from typical 7 to 10 years to get the vaccine into the arms of people to a timeline of a couple of months. And all of us got the booster shots. All of us are able to come together today because of technology exploding and because of technology exponentially growing. Another key trend in technology is the power of convergence. We were looking before on compute power, single chip, how it is promoting and how it's exponentially growing in terms of performance. Now you take the same power on top of other technologies. Compute power is growing exponentially. You put AI and machine learning, the algorithms becoming more intelligent by the day. They are powered by ever more powerful machines. And then you put some output-oriented technologies like 3D printing, nanotechnology on top of it. You get a cycle where technology is self-accelerating. And that's just, again, looking in one part of the equation. It's not looking into the research in physics, in health, in autonomous transport, which again brings us in complete new technology fields, again, exponentially growing and coming back into converging, enabling faster compute power by new technologies, by new materials, which we even didn't know existed a couple of years ago. So convergence and exponential growth, that's the killer app of technology and of where the society is going. What does it mean? First, what does it mean for a business? Take a company like DataSat, I'm sure all of you in your businesses have seen that businesses are struggling to adapt to the new requirements, which are getting faster and changing on a daily basis. Early 1900s up to about 1970, the key considerations were capital and labor. How do I make more effective use of capital? How do I increase the efficiency of labor? Should I drive for efficiency? Should I drive for effectiveness? Should I focus on motivation? There's different models. Everybody was trying to do a different way. But we had 100 years to learn it and become masters in it. The knowledge area accumulating in the launch of the internet, which tried to make sense of data, to develop information, move it into knowledge. but it has some downsides which a machine can never do. It's the overemphasis on logic, which leads to sterile decision making. Again, take COVID. If a machine would decide on what COVID restrictions to implement, maybe all of us would be locked in an apartment for 2 years until the virus dies out. But there is no humanity, there's no emotion in this decision making, it's purely data driven. Attention deficit. If you walk around, I think all of us experience it, including ourselves. If you have 5 minutes idle time, if you have 1 minute idle time, we have to check our WhatsApps, we have to go on a game online, we have to check what's happening in the world. But are we really focusing on what's necessary? We are receiving hundreds of emails a day. We are responding to hundreds of emails, but is it really the quality of response and the quality of information which we want to drive? And last but not least, information overload. We collect all kind of data. We know exactly what is happening in every part of the business at any time. What are we really doing with the data? Are we making sense of it? So what we believe in DataSat, we believe that we are moving to the post-knowledge area where what is required is emotional convictions. You need to believe in something, you need to be driven by something, and you need to act accordingly. No artificial intelligence, no cloud, no technology can replace this conviction and this emotion. If you see the smile of people on the booth, the smile of people if they have human interaction, technology can never replace that. And we believe it shouldn't replace by that. Steve Jobs didn't decide to invent the iPhone based on data. He decided to invent the iPhone based on gut decision. And that's very important if you want to be successful as a business. So actions and emotional convictions, we believe, is something which we should keep in mind as the leaders, as the future of technology in Saudi Arabia. What are the consequences? The consequences of these trends of exponential growth of technology and of convergence is technology is available to everyone, everywhere. If you're born in Saudi Arabia, if you're born in San Francisco, if you're born in India, Austria, wherever, you have access to the same technologies instantly. Any kid can come up with any kind of idea, which is great for technology innovation, but for a business it's also very challenging because you invent something and the lead time you have to really implement it and monetize it becomes very limited. Cost inhibitors become less relevant. Look at today's cloud model. We are making IoT, we are making cloud, we are making access to immense compute powers, to GPU available on a pay-as-you-go basis, on a only purely consumption basis. What does it mean? A startup doesn't need to have $100 million to start inventing new AI models. It means that any municipality anywhere in the world can develop very intelligent IoT applications to improve the life of their citizens, and you can trial and error. Thomas Edison was saying, if something goes wrong, I didn't fail, I learned one of the 10,000 ways how not to do it. So with technology, with the cost inhibitors, we have the power and we have the chance to trial and error, which is extremely important. It was important from early ages of humanity. We are where we are because of trial and error. Being first and blitzscaling. I'm sure there's thousands of ideas out there like WhatsApp, but still WhatsApp is the killer app. We could say the same for Google or Facebook. It's very important if you start technology, if you have a new idea, if you want to develop, you need to blitzscale, you need to grow up. You cannot be a niche cloud provider, doesn't exist. Cloud, you need to achieve volume. Whatever you produce today, the lead time to catch up, you don't have protection for long. So you need to benefit from it. You need to grow the ecosystem and the partner system, which in terms also means you cannot go it alone. Why is Google partnering with companies? Why are the hardware vendors partnering with cloud providers? Because no matter how big you are, you need to be fast, and you need to partner, and you need to grow very quickly, otherwise somebody else will overtake you very quickly. And the last point, and that's something where most organizations, I feel, are really suffering, it's we are living in a metaverse. The physical and virtual boundaries becoming really fuzzy. And I'll show you some examples afterward. What does it mean for an organization like DataSat or organizations in a similar world who have been living in a very physical world and did some digital services. Now, even for the physical services, it's becoming digital and it's becoming really fuzzy. Where are the borders? Two key topics. Change is the only constant. Don't stand still. We cannot stand still. And geography is not relevant. It's not relevant where you do your business. Home working showed it to us. You can sit anywhere in the world and do any job, almost any job in the world you want. But it also means competition. You compete globally. Everybody of us doesn't compete with a company in Saudi, in Europe. We are competing against a startup in India. We are competing against anybody with the beta idea in Africa. So geography doesn't play a role, which gives us huge opportunities. Very quickly into a almost philosophical question. What does it mean for humanity? What does it mean for society? Who in the room believes that technology will lead to a negative future and has negative repercussions? A lot of people assume that the realistic view is you lose control, regulation becomes irrelevant. If you have a regulation in Saudi Arabia, how AI should be programmed, what rights should AI have, if the same regulation doesn't apply in any other country in the world, you cannot control it. And you always will have bad actors who don't care about regulation. And with technology being available everywhere, you cannot control it at all. The other thing is, winner takes it all, especially when you reach general AI. General AI means AI which is not programmed only to deal with one specific task, but which has general intelligence. And the previous discussion was about what is intelligence. But once you reach the stage that an AI model becomes general AI, you cannot control where it is going. Even the inventor or the programmer doesn't know where it will go. So general AI has the opportunity to control everything which is happening, which also means inequalities become more than they are today, and it's for the duration. It's not societies go and come, then inequalities would stay. We believe everybody in this room, everybody in this exciting conference has the power to make a difference in terms of technology, to bring us to a progressive view. So obviously, technology can drive effectiveness, it can lead to longer and healthier lives, but it also can lead to a very thriving art culture and a new age of exploration. Also, removing some of the inequalities and really lead to a society which is more fair and gives opportunities to everybody. You can be growing up in a small community, in a poor community, you still have the same building blocks, you can achieve miracles and contribute in the further growth of the society and of technology. Vision 2030, being in Saudi Arabia, understanding the country, 40 years in the country as our organization, Vision 2030 generates the perfect storm. And perfect storm, in absence of better words, we were thinking about how to formulate it. It's the magic soup where we can build on. The opportunities in Saudi are amazing, building on the technology. There's 3 pillars of Vision 2030, which is vibrant society, it's thriving economy, and it's an ambitious nation, which means effective government and responsible citizens, people where the government is really supporting innovation, is supporting business, and giving the freedom to be successful. All the initiatives, the government, we have been working with Ministry of Communication, with a lot of other ministries, who are open to ideas and really support businesses and support technology export and supporting the ecosystem. Society, there's a strong foundations and life fulfillment, generating job opportunities. It's supported by the government, from education up to programs to bring young Saudis and talent into the opportunities. So we are in the perfect environment to make use of technology and really benefit from the opportunities which we see. If you look into DataSat, I was talking about the building blocks of technology. And one good example, I believe, is DataSat. We started in 1982 with managed services and ICT infrastructure, digging the roads, managing generators, managing fiber optic networks for some of the biggest organizations in the country, launched satellite services and later cloud services until the period up to 2015, 2016, launching IoT in 2020. Now if you take again the opportunities coming from the exploding technology, exponential growth of technology, and the convergence, there's two specific examples which I want to mention here. One of them is smart infrastructure. What we did, we are taking the ingredients of AI, of IoT, and robotics, and build it on top of our infrastructure offering. A fiber optic cable is a fiber optic cable. You still dig the roads, but you change the paradigm by putting patented AI technology on top of it. What does it mean for DataSat? What does it mean for Saudi Arabia? Number one, this generates an export market for Saudi technology, which allows us to promote technology made in Saudi in the global market. As a pure infrastructure company, do we want to export manpower and physical work into other markets or in Europe? We will not be successful. But with smart infrastructure, patented AI technology on top of it, putting robotics on top of it, we can change the paradigm. We really can change the opportunities. The other part is putting AI and IoT on top of VSAT, of satellite connectivity, and another pool of resources to optimize it, reduce the costs on one side, but also make edge computing feasible at the end of high latency links. So it's really an enabling, again, showing how the components come together, convergence between edge computing, between satellite connectivity, between IoT, which allows to build a full ecosystem, and again, a product which can be marketed across the world. So these are just two of the examples where we believe really shows the power of exponential growth and the power of convergence. Another example, I mentioned it briefly, is Edge Cloud. We believe hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, everybody expects them to eat the market. Honestly, as cloud providers who now have experience exporting cloud technology in different markets, who've developed in Saudi for the global market, we believe there is a secret to succeed against the big players, combining connectivity and focusing on low latency edge applications. We were talking to a mine in Africa, and they found out the hard way. If you do your IoT application on Amazon and you have your IoT device in a mine in Central Africa, 700 millisecond latency will not solve your problem. We are believing we need to be near with all applications to our customers, to the municipalities, support the society, give them access to artificial intelligence, to GPUs, to IoT, to develop their applications very near to where they are on a low latency model, and then distribute it across our cloud ecosystem. This helps generate opportunities for partners, because it's a model where whatever we developed in one of the regions for one of the partners, we make available across our cloud ecosystem in the Middle East, but also in Africa. So that's one of the examples. And in the next 12 to 18 months, you will see about 20 to 25 edge data centers developed by Datasat. Another example is our dynamic bandwidth optimization, where the patent is pending. The global product launch is planned for the Satellite World Conference in Washington later this year. Basically what we are doing, we take our knowledge which we collected, all the information on traffic pattern, on specific sites, depending on what, is it an oil exploration site, is it a 5G site, is it a gaming household, and we will predict which capacity will be required and which type of traffic will be required at a specific time in the future for this kind of traffic. And then we configure the bandwidth ecosystem, the SD-WAN licenses, the VSAT licenses, other capacity licenses accordingly. What does it do? It gives better user experience, it enables new products, and it allows us to offer services like on-demand capacity. And again, it gives end users the chance to benefit from this combination of puzzle pieces and to add their own puzzle pieces to further accelerate convergence. So we are closing the loop, driving the economy and driving technology convergence and exponential growth. And then this comes to the mix and the next user has even a better experience. Similar with our project Phantom, where we basically want to change the utility telco paradigm to improve infrastructure planning, implementation, and operations, going out of the traditional workflow and really utilize AI to change the paradigm, to make Saudi Arabia operation more efficient, but also to develop an international software as a service giant made in Saudi Arabia, developed in Saudi Arabia, hosted in Saudi Arabia, enabling again Vision 2030 target achievement, where we are really dedicated to, with our highly dedicated workforce, generating job opportunities and accelerating technology again. So again, it's an accelerating cycle. So as I'm coming to a close, what are the takeaways for Vision 2030 and for Saudi Arabia and for Made in Saudi? There is nothing to fear but fear itself. Theodore Roosevelt was saying it. So we shouldn't be afraid. There are unique opportunities. We believe the next Google, Apple, there's no reason why it cannot be built from Saudi Arabia. So you need partners. You need to grab the opportunity. Don't be afraid. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You will fail, you fall, you stand up, you try it again. And Saudi is well positioned, uniquely positioned to achieve these objectives. Thanks a lot.